From Las Vegas to Nazi Germany, Arrakis, and beyond, Austin Butler really has seen it all, and his dazzling career path is as impressive as it is eclectic. Born in 1991, Austin Butler grew up in Orange County, California, an area just south of Los Angeles. He later told Women's Wear Daily that when he was younger, he felt isolated from most other children, but found music to keep himself occupied. He said, "I was very shy and I didn't really like hanging out with other kids. I would spend 8 hours a day playing the guitar, and I was very reclusive." Part of this solitude was doubtless due to the fact that Butler was homeschooled. He once told Just Jared Jr. that his father taught him during his youth, and that this definitely had an effect on his personality growing up. Butler said, "I probably would be a little different if I had gone to school." That said, Butler loved growing up in Orange County, particularly the diversity of the area. In an interview with the Orange County Register, he said, "I got to meet people from all walks of life, different races and economic classes, and that was a great thing to grow up around." Although his dad loved classic movies, a career in entertainment never seemed to be in the cards.
The idea of being an actor didn't feel anywhere inside the realm of possibility.
That all changed, however, when he and his siblings were scouted at the Orange County Fair. Butler recalled, "I was extremely shy, so I was going along for the ride." In his early years, Austin Butler appeared on a number of millennial and Gen Z childhood favorite Nickelodeon and Disney shows. He was satisfied with playing bit parts too, later telling WWD, "I went on so many auditions, and you get one line in a Nickelodeon show or a Disney show and it feels like the biggest thing in the world." Butler appeared as a recurring background character on 41 episodes of Ned's Declassified alone, which led to bigger and better things for the budding scene stealer. He told Portrait magazine, "I became friends with a lot of the actors, and Lindsay Shaw introduced me to her manager. I signed with her immediately, and she got me on the right track." Butler's new manager helped him land a significant role on the classic iCarly episode, I Like Jake, in which he played the titular Jake, the object of Carly's affection. Austin Butler's first high-profile role came in 2009 when he starred in the family-friendly sci-fi film Aliens in the Attic. Butler played Jake Pearson, a curly-haired teen who, along with his family, has to defend his home from the aliens who have moved in upstairs.
"Hello, humans."
Please tell me you see that too.
Butler apparently related to his character in the movie, telling Portrait magazine, "He's definitely similar to me in the fact that he has to be the best in whatever he chooses to do." Butler was also excited about the film's action sequences. He said, "I have done some fight scenes where I got to do my own fighting. It was a lot of fun. I've loved action movies since I was a little kid, so this is really great." The film paired Butler with his best friend Ashley Tisdale, who memorialized their friendship years later on Instagram. In 2021, she wrote, "You've been my closest friend through the years. You're the type of friend that came over when I was crying on the floor from a horrible breakup, and not only lifted me off the ground, but brought my favorite candy." Unfortunately, the film was a critical failure, amassing a meager rating of just 34% on Rotten Tomatoes. While Aliens in the Attic was supposed to signal the next step in Butler's career, it failed to launch him to the next level. Success, it seemed, would have to wait. When Ashley Tisdale dedicated her Instagram post to Austin Butler in 2021, she wrote, "Remember that one time I convinced you to be in my Disney movie, Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure? Well, look at you now." Tisdale was referring to a straight-to-video spin-off of the High School Musical series that revolved around her ultra-diva character, Sharpay Evans. Butler played Peyton in the film, Sharpay's love interest. While promoting the 2011 flick, Butler said he felt a lot of pressure to live up to the reputation of the original High School Musical franchise. He said, "Because of the success of the other movies and how much people love them, you do sort of feel, I hope this is good too." It's so easy to sort of fall into that trap. And that's why I just had to keep telling myself, focus on today, focus on this work. Despite his concerns, Butler said he was ultimately happy with the way the film turned out. Butler landed a role on 2013's The Carrie Diaries, a high school set Sex and the City prequel that aired on the CW. Butler played Sebastian Kidd, the show's main heartthrob.
One foot before the other, Bradshaw.
Thanks. I guess I'm no Mary Lou Retton.
Don't sweat it. I'm always here to catch you fall.
Asked by the TV Watchtower to describe Sebastian in one word, Butler offered an unusual answer: leather. For some reason, he wears a leather jacket. It seems that filming the show was a mostly positive experience for Butler. even though it only lasted 2 seasons. He got along well with his fellow castmates, telling Just Jared Jr. that he was particularly close with Anna Sophia Robb, who played Carrie Bradshaw, the role first made famous by Sarah Jessica Parker. Butler said, "Anna Sophia and I now have this dynamic where we can just sort of be knuckleheads with each other and not take ourselves too seriously. It's very fun, and she's so down to earth." He also told Cosmopolitan that he was in a good headspace while the Carrie Diaries was on air, which hadn't always been the case behind the scenes. Butler said, "I went through a period when I was rebellious and a mess of a person. I'd swing from happy to depressed, and I realized the patterns of my mental state were contingent on the feelings I was allowing in my head." Instead, he began a new routine of daily gratitude journaling and morning walks, which Butler said had turned his mood around while filming the show. Austin Butler and Vanessa Hudgens' 8-year relationship went through plenty of ups and downs. The pair first sparked romance rumors in 2011 when they were caught canoodling over milkshakes at a branch of Bob's Big Boy in California. The following year, Butler and Hudgens made their red carpet debut at the premiere of her movie, Journey to the Mysterious Island.
Then you kind of lift each other up as much as possible, and you can't go wrong, I don't think.
The young lovebirds weren't shy about sharing their lives together either. They hit the thriving music festival circuit in the 2010s. The couple were spotted having fun together at both Coachella and Outside Lands. Butler and Hudgens also connected through their faith, attending the celeb-friendly Hillsong Church together, and they supported each other through hard times too. After the death of Butler's mother, Lori, in 2014, Hudgens posted a loving tribute to X, formerly known as Twitter, rewriting Butler's message with some words of her own. The post read, "Lori Butler, my mom, my hero, and my best friend passed away this morning. Let's all celebrate her. I miss you already, Mama." While Butler and Hudgens clearly loved each other, they did end up in a bit of hot water over their romance. During a 2016 Valentine's Day weekend getaway in Arizona, Hudgens had to pay a fine for etching the couple's names and a heart onto a rock located on U.S. Forest Service land. Their relationship survived the Love Rock scandal, but it ultimately crumbled under career pressure. In 2020, Butler and Hudgens called it quits, with sources saying that their busy schedules were partially to blame for their breakup. 2016 also saw Butler star as a half-man, half-elf named Will in MTV's adaptation of Terry Brooks's Shannara book series called The Shannara Chronicles. However, the actor didn't understand the popularity of the fantasy series until after he'd been cast, telling Collider, "More and more people started talking to me about how excited they were about it and how they'd been a fan of the books for years. That was really cool." Butler even appeared at Comic-Con to promote the series, where numerous fans told him how much the books meant to them when they were younger. He said, "It was really, really touching." As with Aliens in the Attic, Butler was particularly excited about the action involved in the show. He actually ended up being injured filming one scene, however. His character was meant to be pulled along behind some horses, and something went wrong with the mechanism that was supposed to keep him safe during the stunt. Butler later told ShowbizJunkies.com, "I'm bouncing on hard dirt and the bouncing caused the safety rig to pull apart, and this metal thing whacked me in the face and cut my nose. We ended up having to just do it with the regular rope because the safety rig was actually hurting me worse." In 2018, Austin Butler made his Broadway debut in a revival of Eugene O'Neill's classic play, The Iceman Cometh. He received critical raves for his performance, including in The New Yorker, which called Butler the only actor in a cast of performers. Not bad praise considering he shared the stage with none other than Denzel Washington.
I mean, it's like meeting royalty.
Yeah.
And it's like meeting, your hero from Training Day at the same time.
Butler later told GQ that he was hoping to become friends with the legendary star, but he decided just to do the best job he could, which involved memorizing the entire script and showing up to work earlier than everyone else. In the end, this approach attracted Washington's attention. Butler recalled, "It's just Denzel and me in this empty theater. He started giving me acting advice, and he really took me under his wing. He'd start telling me thoughts about the scene, and suddenly I've got Denzel almost as an acting coach." Washington was so impressed with Butler's talent that he reached out to Baz Luhrmann, director of the then-upcoming Elvis biopic. Luhrmann explained to Entertainment Weekly, "I got a call from Denzel Washington who gave me a cold call, and he said, 'I've just worked with this guy on stage. I've never seen a work ethic like it.'" Luhrmann decided to meet with Butler, and he soon realized he'd found his Elvis Presley. After a career spent mostly in television, Austin Butler got a big break when he was cast in Quentin Tarantino's 2019 film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Butler played Tex Watson, a mangy, murderous member of the Manson family, one of the hippies who, in real life, killed movie star Sharon Tate and several other people. Butler told Variety that it was difficult to leave the part behind at the end of the day, explaining, "The role itself requires me to dig into human things that are conflicting. Profoundly monstrous things were done. But then, at the same time, I would have a lot more reservations about doing it if it wasn't Tarantino." Working with Tarantino was a major step up for Butler's career, and it meant engaging in an unusual audition process. Butler flew out to meet with the director for 12 straight hours during a single day off from The Iceman Cometh.
By about 9 p.m. that night, Quentin gave me the part.
On set, Butler praised Tarantino's approach to filmmaking, explaining that the acclaimed director often required more takes than were necessary. While some directors do that because they are perfectionists, Tarantino's reasoning was different. Butler remembered, "The mantra that Quentin has on set is that once you get the take you want, we're going to do one more. And you know why? Because we love making movies, and everybody screams it." Like many Hollywood stars, Austin Butler has dabbled in the world of luxury fashion and beauty endorsements. In 2020, he co-starred in Prada's Spring-Summer 2020 men's campaign, Optimist Rhythm. In a short video produced for the collection, Butler sported a crisp button-up shirt, leather shoulder bag, and geometric sunglasses, and he looked just the part of a sophisticated Milanese fashionista. Butler's relationship with Prada continued over the years. The fashion house collaborated with filmmaker Baz Luhrmann and costume designer Catherine Martin on costumes for the film Elvis, including a purple-red suit worn by Butler. The design house also kitted him out for the 2022 Met Gala. Butler further ascended into the realm of high fashion when he was named an ambassador for fine jeweler Cartier in 2022. He sported several of the brand's pieces at that year's Cannes Film Festival. Butler's foray into the world of luxury also has him smelling great too. In 2023, he became the face of YSL Beauty's Myself fragrance. The scent's notes of orange blossom actually reminded Butler of his humble beginnings in Southern California. He told Vanity Fair, "When I was a kid, I had an orange tree in the center of my backyard. That was in Anaheim, California. The smell of orange blossoms really reminds me of picking oranges with my mother and making orange juice in the house." When the young actor scored the coveted role of Elvis Presley in director Baz Luhrmann's 2022 biopic Elvis, it catapulted the star into a 3-year creative odyssey that would redefine his career. Butler fully committed himself to transforming into Presley, spending years researching and preparing for the role. When production on Elvis shut down in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Butler delved even further into his character studies. He intensely scrutinized Presley's mannerisms, telling Elle Australia of his process. The tricky thing was to get incredibly specific about the way his fingers were moving, or his legs, or anything. But then to make it feel as though it's happening right now for the first time. It was hours and hours and hours of obsessing. Not only did Butler undergo a physical transformation, but he also changed his voice to sound exactly like Elvis Presley as well.
Well, I want you to know those New York people ain't gonna change me none.
In a sit-down with Janelle Monáe for Variety, he explained, "I had months where I wouldn't talk to anybody. And when I did, the only thing I was ever thinking about was Elvis. I was speaking in his voice the whole time." Despite the toll exacted by the role, it paid off big time for the actor's career. Butler won a Golden Globe and was nominated for an Academy Award for his part in Elvis. After spending years in the world of Elvis Presley, Austin Butler was ready for a new role. But transitioning from playing the King to a World War II pilot wasn't a simple process. Executive produced by his Elvis co-star Tom Hanks, Masters of the Air featured Butler as real-life pilot Gail Bucky Clevin, who led a number of dangerous bombing missions over German-occupied Europe. Butler only had a week off in between shooting Elvis and Masters of the Air. And while crunched for time, he immersed himself in the project as much as he could. Talking with Esquire, Butler said he watched Hanks and Steven Spielberg's previous World War II series, Band of Brothers and The Pacific, to get in the mood. Despite the change of scenery, Butler's Elvis mannerisms and voice were hard to shake. When he arrived on the London set of Masters, even director Cary Fukunaga noticed Butler couldn't help but cling to the King. Butler still embodied Presley so much, in fact, that he needed a dialect coach to get him out of his system. Butler spent almost a year in London filming the series, and once again, his hard work didn't go unnoticed. When it premiered in 2024, Masters of the Air became the biggest series debut in the history of Apple TV+. Austin Butler's relationship with Vanessa Hudgens was very much public-facing, but he's kept his romance with model Kaia Gerber relatively private. Gerber, who is the daughter of Cindy Crawford, was first spotted with Butler in 2021 outside a low-key yoga class. Even though Butler and Gerber weren't speaking publicly about their rumored relationship at the time, the pair were photographed doing plenty of couple-ish activities together, including embarking on grocery store runs and grabbing coffee. During Butler's busy award season campaign for Elvis in 2022, Butler and Gerber confirmed their relationship by making their red carpet debut at W Magazine's Best Performances Party in Los Angeles. Butler hasn't been shy about his relationships in the past, but these days both he and Gerber keep their love lives to themselves. When GQ asked Butler about his budding relationship with Gerber, he quickly shut down the conversation, quipping, "I don't think there's anything I want to share about that, but thank you for providing the space." And Gerber has kept equally mum about her boyfriend. She didn't want to discuss him during a 2024 interview with WSJ Magazine, saying, "Honestly, I feel like so few things in my life are private, and that is one of the things that I try to keep as sacred as possible." Austin Butler's stunning physical transformation into Dune Part 2's villainous Fade Rotha was a new experience for the actor. The film's director, Denis Villeneuve, told Empire, "Austin brought something that is a cross between a psychopath killer, an Olympic swordmaster, a snake, and Mick Jagger." Instead of shaving his head, Butler donned a bald cap that extended over his eyebrows. Taking 3 hours to apply, Butler heartily embraced the 3-hour daily physical transformation.
It was so liberating not having eyebrows. You don't realize how much they weigh you down.
Butler's physical transformation wasn't limited to makeup either. He bulked up his body and even went through knife combat training for the film. Butler told the Los Angeles Times, "It was about finding the brutality and making him as vicious as possible." Butler also worked closely with Villeneuve on developing Fade Rotha's backstory and character motivation. Perhaps most impressively, he even crafted his own vocal performance based on that of actor Stellan Skarsgård in Dune Part 1. Fade Rotha is the nephew of Skarsgård's character, Baron Harkonnen, and Butler wanted to make the familial connection clear.
May thy knife chip and shatter.
May thy knife chip and shatter.
Butler told Entertainment Weekly, "I started thinking about the way that he speaks, and that being linked to the person that you see with the most power from the time that you're a child, who you do end up emulating in some way."